Good morning. My name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about getting things done the author way. And when I say getting things done, I'm talking specifically about David Allen's Getting Things Done. He's got a wonderful book called Getting Things Done. It really transformed my life. It's just incredible how much different my life is since implementing the system you're about to see. So the second half of the video is going to walk through that system. It's going to explain to you exactly how it works and what you can use it for. And in my case, I've used it to systematize my whole life. So from cleaning things up to cleaning up my inbox digitally. Getting things done is the system that I'm adopting for this. So if you look over there at the table, you can't see all of it, but there's a big pile of junk. You notice that there's now a monitor there, and there's books. Well, that is my inbox right now. That's my physical inbox. I'm putting everything there to be processed. And then once I'm done gathering everything, what you'll see, I'll go through exactly the process you're going to see in the next section. And that means that by the time you see the next video, you should notice that the desk is clean because I've now processed my inbox. And that'll go back to being an actual desk. The Getting Things Done system is tremendously useful for me. I'm sure there are other systems that are too. If you know of them, feel free to bring them up in the comments. This is the one that has really clicked for me. And I can't even express how freeing it is emotionally when you are on top of everything in your life. When you're not doing things by memory, like, oh, do I have to pay that bill? Or did I take care of that tax payment? Or, did I buy that thing at the grocery store? You just have a system. So like when I leave the house, I look at my errands list in my Getting Things Done app. It's called OmniFocus. I can look and see all of my errands where it's like, oh, here's the 8 things I need from Safeway, and I can just go buy them all at once. So it's a tremendously useful system for organizing your life. The video is going to be short, but it'll give you an overview of how you process using the system. If you're intrigued, I'd encourage you to check it out. As I mentioned later in the video, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't have an affiliate link or anything. I just really believe this system is super useful for everyone, not just authors. But, we're authors, and most authors I know are a little bit disorganized. So this is a way we can sort of turn things around. Anyway, we'll jump into the second half of the video. Okay, so here's the process that I'm always talking about. So when you hear me talk about GTD or Getting Things Done, which I've mentioned, I think, in a number of videos, this is the process that the book teaches. And if you want to know it inside and out, I recommend the book. But we're going to give you a 5-minute overview of how this process works and why it's so useful. So the goal is to categorize and organize everything in your life. So you know pretty much everything that's going on, from your finances to where the stuff in your garage should be. And I cannot express how emotionally freeing it is when you have organized your entire life in this way. And so what you do is you put everything into an inbox. And so let's use email as an example. So you're going through your email, and that's the inbox that we're talking about. It could be a real inbox, like maybe it's your mail with your bills. But in this instance, let's talk email. So as you're going through your email, you click on an email, and as you are reading this email, you say, is it actionable? Can I do something with this right now? If the answer is no, then you're going to ask, okay, well, what do I want to do with this long term? If it's just some advertisement or it's not useful to you, and I encourage you to use this liberally, trash it, delete it. Just get rid of it. It's out of here. It's not useful to you, it's gone. If it's an advertisement, if it's something that could be useful someday and you really want to keep it, you can put it into a someday folder. So I create a folder where I will have this stuff. So maybe like there's a concert in 3 months that you want to go to, and you have to decide to buy tickets at a certain point. You could drop that in your someday folder and go through it at a later time. Or is it a note? Is it something that you want to have for later? So where they say notes here, I consider it to be like an archive. So if it could be useful for you to know later, like a communication you have with a coworker, I just have an archive folder where I put all these old conversations. And that's no. So you're looking in your inbox. I've looked at my first email. Is it actionable? If the answer is yes, then you're asking yourself, okay, what is the next action? Like, what do I do about this? So if it's Kaiser emailed me and said, hey, your credit card is expired, input a new credit card. Okay, well, then I create a project, which is log on to Kaiser and input new credit card information. And so now I've kind of captured that project. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to actually get my project management. So I use something called OmniFocus, but there's like a billion apps that do this, and you don't necessarily need a specific one. This one is geared to work with the Getting Things Done system. But here's my inbox, and you can see I just put random actions in here. So this can be anything from buy milk to go to the doctor. And then as I'm sorting through it, I'm asking myself, what is the next action? Like, is this actionable? Is it just information? Should I be recording it somewhere? And then what grows out of that is my projects. So you're going to see like how they're organized, which in my case is by priority. And this is sort of what I decide to do each day after my core work is done. So anyway, getting back to the flowchart. So we've got that project now, which is the update our credit card information. I keep processing, so I'm not going to do that right now, but it's in my projects. And so when I'm done clearing my inbox and my inbox hits 0, then I will go to my list of projects and start knocking out projects. And I'll actually go to Kaiser and just really quickly knock that out. If it's a single action, if it's one thing like updating a credit card, ask yourself, can I do it in less than 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever feels like an appropriate amount of time for you? And if the answer is yes, just do it. So if you set aside, let's say, an hour, that's 30 emails that are 2 minutes or less that you could process in that hour. We just crank through a bunch of emails where you fire off a quick reply, or you update a credit card information on a website or whatever it is you need to do. If it's taking less than 2 minutes, it's knocked out. If it's not, if it's going to take longer and it's going to need to become a project, then you ask yourself how you can deal with it. Are you able to delegate it? Can you add it to a waiting list or send it to somebody else, or defer it? And if you can't, then you have to decide how you're going to deal with that. So maybe you make a project like I did in my list there, where I have critical projects and it becomes one of those critical projects, or maybe a back burner project if it's not that important, or I'll calendar it if it has a specific date it has to be done by. But that's how I end up with each of these projects, where some of these were notes on my phone, some are things that need to be done specifically. You can see recording the video that we're listening to right now is what the top action for me to get done. And when I'm done with that, I'll record the next 2 videos probably, and then I'll start working on art mockups. That's most of my day today. And that's sort of, how that'll play out. And once this critical thing is empty, I'll click on high and we'll see what's down here, and I'll start knocking out some more actions. If I finish that, we'll go to back burner and so on and so forth. So that's how I organize everything. And it doesn't matter what these projects are. Again, it can be, pretty much anything you can think of. It can go into this system and you have an easy way to manage it. And if it's not worth recording in your system, then I just don't really worry about it. It doesn't need to get done. But what I found is once you are able to track all of your actions in this way, it dramatically simplifies your life. And you get a skill in processing your inbox. The book is very good at teaching you this skill. I highly recommend getting things done. I don't have an affiliate link to it or anything, so I'm not getting paid for this, but I have it on both Audible and as an ebook, and I go through it once a year. I teach myself, again, to do getting things done. I process my whole life and clean up everything, and this is both physical and digital. I'll go through everything and sort of clean everything up and get myself back to a good spot. That hasn't been done since Kaylee came into the world on December 30th, so I'm past due for it. I probably will do it soon, which is kind of why I wanted to create this video. Anyway, I hope this is useful, guys. I just wanted to show sort of how I whip through a bunch of projects really quickly. When you have a system like this, it's very easy to accomplish large amounts of work and to be very organized. So I'd encourage you to check out the book. I do have a lot of writing to get done, so I'm going to get back to the writing, and I will see you next week.